My name is Dr. Salcedo-Sora. I'm a lecturer in microbiology. Today we'll be discussing or talking about type of virus that has made the news recently, mainly for a recent outbreak in South America, the Zika virus. He originally described in Africa back in 1947, as we look later. This is a simple model of a virus that could be one of few viruses that have this type of shape, and it happens to be also the structure of the Zika virus, and it has or transmits its genetic content via RNA, and that RNA, an important genetic content of the virus, is protected by a number of layers that goes from the capsid to the matrix and the envelope. And there is the outside or the outermost layer that has all the receptors and all the proteins that the virus needs to contact, identify the host, and make contact eventually to invade that host. This is the structure of the actual Zika virus, and all these protrusions, all those knobs that you see are what effectively or how effectively the virus can recognize and invade a host. In this series of simple drawings, I'm showing how a virus in general, in this case using the Zika virus as an example, we show how they actually manage to make a lot of replicas of itself invading its host. The virus managed to introduce its genetic material that is, in this case, RNA. Proteins from that RNA start to be made, but also RNA has to be introduced into the nucleus to make more copies of that genetic material. However, RNA cannot be multiplied, so that RNA needs to be reverse transcribed, it's called, into DNA. And when it's DNA, that more and more copies of that genetic material can be made. Now we got new RNA, new proteins can be made from that new RNA, and now we have new viruses that eventually break that host cell. And I say eventually because some virus can take a bit longer to break and release from the cell or the host, but eventually give the symptoms. In the case of some viruses, Zika is one of them. The way they travel between hosts is using a mosquito. This mosquito, we call it a vector, and therefore Zika is one of those vector-borne infectious diseases. Aedes aegypti is one of those mosquitoes, a very resilient, very strong mosquito, and survives under very different environmental conditions, can transmit yellow fever, dengue, and Zika, the more recent outbreaks we know of. Aedes aegypti is accompanied by Aedes albopictus, which is an important vector now because it happens to be in the Americas, including North America. Zika was described a good 70 years ago now. The first description was in 1947 in Uganda, and it traveled because the mosquitoes can travel via human movements and traveling as humans travel across continents. But the next time we heard about Zika infection and eventually an outbreak was in 2007 in the Polynesian island of Java. Next time we heard of Zika as an outbreak was in Brazil, as it was described in 2015. Currently, South America is mainly affected in Brazil and Colombia, but it has also traveled via the Caribbean islands, and islands such as Puerto Rico have the highest incidence of Zika cases. And up to this year, we have seen cases in the south of Florida and Texas in the USA. 75% of Zika infections don't give any symptoms, and then 25% are relatively mild and resolves within a week. But unfortunately, in some cases, less than 1%, but still important complications such as microcephaly are present. Another complication is Guillain-Barré syndrome, again, even less prevalent than microcephaly. Microcephaly is currently in South America, in Brazil, building up to 2,000 cases or so of microcephaly linked to Zika in most cases. So we have Zika being transmitted actively in most of South America and the Caribbean. Central America is equally involved presently, and as I said, the south states of the USA are currently also involved in the active transmission of Zika, mainly via the mosquito. Few other less prevalent form of transmission are sexual transmission. We don't have a medication that can only control symptoms, and our hopes are relying on the development of a vaccine. So currently, the only way to control the outbreak of Zika is by controlling the mosquito population by active fumigation in areas where the mosquito thrives. So I hope you enjoy the little presentation on Zika.